Alright. Anybody else want to talk? There's gotta be more people. Josephine, is she inside the building?
Not enough bandages to go around. Start tearing up shirts then. If the Inquisition can afford fancy new uniforms, it can afford bandages.
Do we have fancy new uniforms? I guess we do, with the whole eyeball thing. Hello, everyone. Oh, I never explored the bottom.
Let all repeat the chant of light. Only the word dispels the darkness upon us.
I'm waiting. Okay, fine, be that way.
Researcher Minaeve wishes to verify that the infections have decreased in number.
Dispels the darkness upon us.
Thank you for your help. Tell me, are you happy this way, with everything you feel and dream cut away? I no longer talk to dragons.
The golden
I see.
The center
May girl
of all
go with you.
creation.
Wait.
And for a time you dwelled among them.
Why does this lady talk to dragons? Was she part of a cult? One of those Andraste cults?
For the first signs of life.
She is an elf. Oh. Hi, Mother Giselle.
Greetings, Herald of Andraste. How fares your quest to seal the breach?
I have been trying to get horses. It's not going very well.
I'm doing everything within my power.
A task such as closing the breach is a heavy burden. I hope you do not carry it alone. We remember Andraste, but Andraste did not carry the Chant of Light alone. She had generals, advisors, and though it is considered heresy to say it, she had the aid of the elf Chantry. Do everything within your power, but remember those who would help you.
Is it heresy because Chantry was an elf? Yeah, that comparison. Multiple things here. I get the impression Mother Giselle would respond okay to me saying I don't believe in Andraste. She's open enough that I feel like she would, but I'm more worried about that people think I can do all these things, that I don't know if I can or not.
You keep talking as though I'm the equal of Andraste. Do you know how unnerving that is?
I can only imagine. But we are all given to our purpose under the Maker. A sword does not ask to be forged. And frankly, if such a comparison gives you pause, I do not see that as a bad thing. In any case, I pray this Inquisition proves less brutal than its predecessor.
What happened to the old one?
Can you tell me about the original Inquisition?
The original Inquisition was formed after the First Blight, well before the Chantry as we know it. The Inquisitors were hunters, zealots, who tracked and killed cultists and dangerous mages. As Andraste rose to power, the Inquisition came into her service. Instead of hunting those who would do harm, the Inquisitors spread the Chant of Light by force.
No wonder everyone is so nervous around us. Who chose that name?
Divine Justinia herself. I understand that this was not a popular decision. In any case, once the Chant of Light had spread far and wide, there was less need for zealots. The Inquisitors became the seekers of truth, and eventually the Templars.
Going full circle, huh?
And now the Inquisition has been called again to restore order by force.
Do you know what impresses me most about the original Inquisition? They fought horrific battles, killed and died for their cause, and when it was time, they put their swords away. Perhaps the name was Divine Justinia's message, that when the Inquisition is needed, it will strike without mercy. But when its work is done, it will put its sword away.
Can we guarantee that happening? It only takes one bad apple for things to go wrong.
How are the people doing after what happened at the Conclave?
They are scared, of course. Many have lost homes or loved ones. I doubt many will sleep well until you have sealed the breach. I have offered what help I can. The rest is for the Inquisition. What more do you wish to know?
Do you have information on people elsewhere?
The refugees in the hinterlands are desperate. Without help, starvation or war will claim many lives. Villagers in Crestwood are besieged by their own dead. They have sent word begging for assistance. People are vanishing in the hills of Marquis Duralian. It may be demons or something worse, but they are terrified. More than that I cannot say. It is a chaotic time for all in Olay and Ferelden.
And we still have the war going on too.
How are the villagers in Haven doing?
They are terrified. Many of them came here because the war between the Mages and the Templars destroyed their homes. In their minds, the death of a divine has destroyed any chance of peace. To that, add the breach. Farmers have fled their fields. If we do not restore order, half of Thedas may starve.
What is Empress Celine and King Alistair doing? Shouldn't they be playing a bigger role in this?
What are you doing to help these people?
My sisters and I have been tending to the injured as best we are able. Some refugees come with food, while others arrive empty-handed. I have helped ensure that all have enough to eat. Beyond that, many simply wish the familiar comfort of the Chant of Light. It is little enough work to offer some comfort to those in pain.
Just being in the same place as other people, having some company, I like to think that helps.
Farewell.
Make her go with you.
We know that Alistair sent some people for the Inquisition, right? Thren, the quartermaster outside. But other than that, what is he doing to stabilize Thedas? Oh.
The Inquisition cannot remain, Ambassador, if you can't prove it was founded on Justinia's orders.
This is an inopportune time, Marquis. More of the faithful flock here each day. But allow me to introduce you to the brave soul who risked her life to slow the magic of the breach.
I have a hunchback.
Mistress Lavelan, this is the Marquis Duralian, one of Divine Justinia's greatest supporters.
And the rightful owner of Haven. House Duralian lent Justinia these lands for pilgrimage. This Inquisition is not a beneficiary of this arrangement.
This is the first I've heard of Haven having an owner outside the Chantry.
My wife, Lady Machin of Denerim, has claimed to Haven by ancient treaty with the monarchs of Ferelden. We were honored to lend its use to Divine Justinia. She was a woman of supreme merit. I will not let an upstart order remain on her holy grounds.
So we must convince this guy that Justinia wanted this. I don't think he cares that people need shelter.
Interesting, considering the Inquisition was begun by the left and right hands of the Divine.
I've seen no written records from Sister Liliana or Seeker Pentacus that Justinia approved the Inquisition.
We have that writ.
If you won't take her at her word, I'm afraid Seeker Pentagast must challenge him to a duel.
What?
It is a matter of honor among the Navarrans. Shall I arrange the bout for tonight?
No. Perhaps my reaction to the Inquisition's presence was somewhat hasty.
We face a dark time, Your Grace. Divine Justinia would not want her passing to divide us. She would, in fact, trust us to forge new alliances to the benefit of all, no matter how strange they might seem.
I'll think on it, Lady Montillier. The Inquisition might stay in the meanwhile.
Well, thank you. Wow, he's dressed like he's from a completely different place.
Do the Duralians actually have a claim on this place?
His Grace's position is not so strong as he presents it. Despite their Ferelden relations, the Duralians are Orlesian. If the Marquis wishes to claim Haven, Empress Selene must negotiate with the Ferelden on his behalf. Her current concerns are a bit larger than minor property disputes.
Oh, we're technically on Orlais lands. Oh, wow, just hearing Josephine say that, hey, the Inquisition was founded by the left and right hands of the Divine. Actually, we have a pretty strong position here, but the problem comes into play with Justinia not being the most popular divine because apparently, oh, she had a life before she came to the Chantry and therefore she's not pure or like whatever. Which is probably part of why that Chancellor, Roderick, was not happy about this. I do wonder about the split though. What's the percentage of split between people who do support the Inquisition versus not, among Chantry believers, Chantry followers? You were great.
I'm so pleased the Marquis isn't tossing us out into the cold.
His Grace is only the first of many dignitaries we must contend with.
You expect more people in Haven?
Undoubtedly. And each visitor will spread the story of the Inquisition after they depart.
Hopefully positively.
An ambassador should ensure the tale is as complimentary as possible.
And that is you?
May I ask, what brought you to work for the Inquisition?
Sister Leliana approached me. We've been acquainted for quite some time. For better or worse, being the Inquisition's diplomat has become as interesting as she promised.
I heard about your party, small clothes on the signboard.
What sort of dealings have you had with nobility?
For some years, I was the royally appointed court ambassador from Antiva to Orlais. The nobility of Thedas is a rather singular sphere. Those I'm not acquainted with, I know through reputation.
The Inquisition is lucky to have you as an advocate, Lady Montillier.
Thank you. Let us hope so. Thedas' politics have become agitated as of late. I hope to guide us down smoother paths. But please excuse me. I've much work to do before the day is done.
Oh, sorry. I might talk to you some more if that's okay. Ooh, we have a lot of work cut out for us.
You're the Herald. Or, well, the one they're calling the Herald, anyway. It's odd to see them accepting a mage as their hero. Especially a Dalish elf. One look at your face and it's clear you were never part of a circle. My name is Minaeve. I research demons and other creatures. Seeker Pentagast and I use what I find to help the soldiers fight them.
I was gonna hand in research stuff to you, but you... Okay, you wanna talk to me. We'll leave Josephine alone for a little bit.
I found something the demons left behind. Can you use it?
Yes, that's very helpful. Just leave it there and the Tranquil and I will examine it.
Oh, she's an elf. She's an elf.
We can use that. If you find anything, please bring it in. If you find anything, please bring it in.
Oh, wow.
If you find anything, please bring it in.
Does it... Do I just have to press it one time, or... Oh, I think I pressed it too many times. Okay, thank you.
You've brought back some fascinating things. We're putting them to good use.
Good.
You said Cassandra has you researching creatures.
Yes. If you find anything interesting in your travels, I'd appreciate you bringing it to me. I may be able to find some weakness our soldiers can exploit when fighting various creatures. At the least, some materials are useful for making potions or gear for the Inquisition.
Why did you decide to research dangerous creatures?
I like the outdoors. The idea of the outdoors, anyway. When some monster is coming at you, glowing eyes and burning claws, it's terrifying. But once you know how it works, you can deal with it. It's just another part of the world. So much of this world is only frightening because we don't understand it.
So we try to increase our understanding of it. We thought we were doing great, but now new things are happening.
You said you were a mage?
No, just an apprentice. Circle mages must prove themselves in a ritual called the Harrowing. I was never very good at magic. I've got just enough talent to be a danger to other people. But when the mages rebelled, people like me had nowhere to go. The Templars would have killed us. Luckily, Seeker Pentagast took me in, along with the Tranquil I was protecting.
We should have a pretty good camaraderie. We're both elven mages. You from the Circle, me from the Dalish.
You said that you were keeping some of the Tranquil safe.
Yes. The mages took some of them when my Circle rebelled, but the rest were forgotten. Most Circle mages look down on the Tranquil, or try to pretend they don't exist. They don't have any emotions. They can barely take care of themselves, can't defend themselves at all. It's a shame. I like them better than most people.
That makes me really sad because a lot of people discriminate against mages, and you're telling me that mages also discriminate against other mages? Lesser mages, quote unquote lesser. They know exactly what it's like to be, you know, on the bottom rung of the ladder, so to say.
I'm glad they have someone who cares about them.
They deserve better. They're polite, they're rational, and they'll never get angry at you. When they study, they have a focus no normal person could ever match. But the Templars, even some of the mages, mistreated them just because they could. The Tranquil never fought back. If not for that, I don't know. Doesn't really matter now.
It's like some Stanford prison experiment crap. Hey, they never fight back anyway, we're just gonna take advantage of that.
I'm surprised that even an apprentice mage wouldn't join the rebellion.
I don't like using magic to fight. I'm not good at it either. I liked studying. I liked performing rituals that helped us unlock the secrets of the Veil. I liked having the Templars around to keep us safe.
An elf-only option?
You might have done well among the Dalish. Our mages are encouraged to study safely.
Fenrir will take the Dalish. Don't let my lack of Valisleen fool you, Lethleen. I was a proud member of my clan until my magic manifested. You know what happens when they have too many mages. They gave me a pack and sent me into the woods to find my own life. I was 7 years old.
I'm surprised you don't have tattoos then.
I'm so sorry.
I stumbled into a village, starving and cold a few weeks later. I started using magic to scare predators away. The villagers saw me make fire in my fist. They were terrified and wanted to kill me. Templars saved me from them. They gave me food and clothes and took me to the Circle. I've seen what life is like without the Templars, and I want no part of it. I just want to study.
Well, I hope that we finish all this breach business soon and we can get you back on your studies.
I'll speak with you later.
Thank you again for what you've brought back.
You know, we've been talking to so many humans in the Inquisition. Like, I feel like, why am I not... Should I be more racist? Like, I don't feel like I'm racist at all right now with the humans, but I feel like I should be since I'm a Dalish elf. Or at the minimum, I'm not used to seeing humans. I don't feel like I'm acting that way though.
Greetings.
Hello, Josephine. Are you less busy now? Oh.
What did you do before coming here?
I had the great honor of serving Antiva's crown as ambassador to Orlais. I'm also first in line to become the head of House Montilier, though my siblings attend to our mercantile affairs.
How strong are your past loyalties?
I would never have given up my position if I did not intend to fully commit to the Inquisition. We cannot fall back on borders. Antiva is as threatened as any country by the rebellions. If anything, the alliances I forged there may help our current cause.
I'm glad we have you helping then. Everyone giving up so much, Cassandra giving up nobility, you giving up your family's mercantile businesses.
Do you think the Inquisition will continue after we seal the breach?
It shouldn't.
If we prove ourselves by healing the breach, people may turn to us for other things. Protection, counsel, justice. The Inquisition offered these once to those in need.
What business are the Montiliers in exactly?
We began as merchants. My ancestors founded the first trade routes to Rivain. We once sent entire fleets across the Waking Sea.
But not anymore.
No. These days, our vessels are a touch more modest.
Tell me, do you believe I was saved by Andraste at the Temple of Sacred Ashes?
I should much like to believe so, Your Worship. The miracles Andraste performed
worship.
so long ago, they're difficult to picture. If it were truly her and the Fade who saved you, well, in any case, many already believe you walk in the Maker's light.
How are people rationalizing this though? The Maker's angry, so he's opening a breach. And then he's sending a holy prophet to save us all from the breach he made.
Let's speak later.
Farewell.
Hey, I didn't get to ask about how you
What
and
may I do
Liliana
for
met. Yeah.
How do you and Leliana know each other?
We moved through similar circles in Orlais. I believe we actually met in Val Royeaux. Leliana was quite an accomplished player of the game by then.
What exactly do you mean when you say the game?
The one you just
forgive
lost.
me. The game refers to the slow duels of influence among the noble and powerful of Orlais. It's a rather light-hearted name for the matter, but Orlesians are fond of playful touches.
What exactly does your job entail?
I meet with ambassadors from various factions and countries and cement alliances with them. We are a young cause. Diplomacy is essential to our credibility.
Then you speak for the Inquisition with these nobles?
I do. Someone must foster goodwill on our behalf, as well as prevent controversy as news of us spreads.
Very important job.
How heavily are our actions scrutinized?
Make no mistake, every noble house, every throne is waiting to see what the Inquisition does next. Many are willing to pledge support, if offers are made in just the right fashion. I intend to see that they are.
And I'm at the centerpiece of this whole Inquisition thing. Without me, I feel like they'd be significantly weaker, but I've got the mark on my hand and all.
Tell me how you came to work for the Inquisition again.
I'd been considering leaving my post in Antiva for a new challenge when Leliana recruited me. There's such unrest in Thedas, and the Inquisition seems a promising method to stop it. It's to everyone's benefit if we prevent the Mage-Templar conflict from spreading further.
So was it the prospect of stability that drew you here?
The full impact of the Mage Rebellion has yet to be felt, and that was before the death of the Divine. The violence must be curbed before we see it turn to full-scale war.
The wording of how they talk about the war already shows that the Templars might have a bit of an upper hand. They're calling it a Mage Rebellion. They're not calling it a Templar slaughter, or like Templars doing the slaughtering. They're saying the mages are doing this thing that they're not supposed to be doing. That's what a rebellion is.
I can only imagine the bloodshed if it escalates further.
I'm afraid history holds many examples of what will happen if it does.
What do the people make of us?
Despite our fame, we're low on steadfast allies. We must aim for more.
Allies? Do you mean people like Mother Giselle?
Any thoughts on the people here?
Who did you mean?
Commander Cullen came to mind.
The commander is an intelligent, cautious man. I'm grateful he's in charge of our standing army. Still, he does sometimes resemble the man with a hammer to whom everything appears as a nail.
If a hammer works, there's no reason to switch out your tool.
I was thinking of Cassandra.
Seeker Pentagast is a princess of the Kingdom of Nevada, although that barely seems important to her. She was not interested when I asked if we might make use of her royal relations. Still, the Inquisition would not have formed without Cassandra. She's an extraordinarily driven woman.
I wish you wouldn't be so quick to write off her relations. It could be helpful later on.
What's your impression of Solas?
I suppose I should be wary of an apostate, but our elven mage has conducted himself with the utmost propriety. And he has the most fascinating stories.
We need to talk to Solas. Today.
I was thinking of Varric.
Oh, I could listen to his tales for hours. He actually let me read a chapter of his next book he's writing. My friends would be sick with envy if they knew. It's excellent, but a bit different from his past works. Only 3 beheadings so far.
Only 3? He's losing his touch.
Let's speak later.
Farewell.
Having Cullen around is probably good for our credibility too. We've got some mages, we've got some ex-Templars, everyone's rallying for the cause.
What may I do for you?
What do the people make of us?
Despite our fame, we're low on steadfast allies. We must aim for more.
Any visiting dignitaries I should watch out for?
Sir Griffith of Denerim, a most distinguished knight of the realm.
He's defeated darkspawn, slain demons, chased down abominations. Just don't ask him about it over dinner. He spares no detail.
Okay, good to know. Anybody... Ooh, summon War Council. Is that looking at the... Well, maybe let's leave that for... What does it mean? Inquisition soldiers are missing in the uncharted marshes of southern Ferelden. Maybe let's leave this for a little bit later, in case if it drags me to someplace else again. I'm interested to meet Solas, if he's around here, but we haven't been down here either. He might be outside. So what was down here? Random loot? Books to read? Founding of the Chantry. Cordillus Dracon, king of the city-state of Orlais, was a man of uncommon ambition. In the year -15 Ancient, the young king began construction of a great temple dedicated to the Maker, and declared that by its completion, he would not only have united the warring city-states of the south, he would have brought Andrastian belief to the world. In -3 Ancient, the temple was completed. There in its heart, Dracon knelt before the eternal flame of Andraste and was crowned the ruler of the Empire of Orlais. His first act as emperor, to declare the Chantry as the established Andrastian religion of the Empire. It took 3 years and several hundred votes before Olessa of Montsimard was elected to lead the new Chantry. Upon her coronation as divine, she took the name Justinia in honor of the disciple who recorded Andraste's songs. In that moment, the ancient era ended and the divine age began. Oh, she was named Justinia as well. Pretty sure we've read this one. Doesn't hurt to read it again. Chantry hierarchy. Yes, divine at the top. And then, well, there's 2 divines now. There's the white divine and the black divine. Ours was the white divine, a woman. The one in Tevinter was the black divine, a man. In Minrathus, neither divine recognizes the other one. But no matter which one, they're both called Most Holy or Your Perfection. Oh, I guess Most Holy was a thing they talked about before. I just forgot it. And nobody really talked about the divine that much before. Underneath divine is Grand Cleric. They go to Val Royeaux when the College of Clerics convenes, but otherwise they remain where they are. They're called Your Grace. After that is Mother, or in the Imperial Chantry it would be the Father. If they are in charge of a Chantry, they are called Revered Mother or Father. They are addressed as Your Reverence. And then after that, Brothers and Sisters. And then the Affirmed, Initiates, Clerics. Yes, remember Liliana used to be affirmed. And was Sebastian affirmed? They are people who don't have to take a vow, you know, the chastity vow, but they believe in the Maker as well. No, Sebastian might have been, Right, so if you take the vows, you become initiates. Clerics are the academics of the Chantry. They hold all the knowledge. Is it just a dungeon in here, or what? We can't get in. Are we... Oh, do we need like a rogue to open these, or what? Varric, come over here. Ring of Life Drain. 2% heal on kill. Thought it was 20%. I can't really open any of this. Okay. Maybe I'll come back another time. Nobody in our dungeon so far. Maybe when they catch the traitor agent that Liliana wanted to kill.
These truths the Maker has revealed to me. As there is but one world, one life, one death, there is but one God. And
one God.
Is our Maker.
Cullen, where is Solas? The Apothecary, the smith. Right. Where are these people?
Hear my cry. Seat me by your side in death. Make me one within your glory, and let the world once more see your favor.
All the gods have abandoned us so far. They're not helping. Apothecary. Hold up. Oh, we met you already. Apothecary. Find recipes through exploration or by visiting merchants. Visiting an apothecary with herbs you gather in the wilderness to upgrade potions. Use the equip station to assign different potions to each of your party members and to replenish potions you're carrying. Hi.
Sacred.
I'm sorry.
Look who's back from the dead. Again.
Why did you talk faster? Sorry, guy, I interrupted you.
I don't recall meeting you before.
I'd be surprised if you did. You weren't particularly coherent. Someone had to patch you up after you staggered out of making knows where, though. So, you're welcome.
I didn't realize. Thank you.
Yeah, well, you can pay me back by fixing the world. Name's Adan. I'm in charge of keeping our little band here stocked with potions and elixirs. Not that Seeker Pentagast seems to care whether we've got the supplies to actually do that.
For a healer, you don't seem particularly nurturing.
I'm not a healer. I'm an alchemist who's forced to play Mother Hen. You want something to burst into flame on contact with the air? Done. Gladly. Patching up wounded soldiers is a waste of my time and talents. But there are a few around who can help.
Saving people is never a waste of time.
How are your people holding up?
We've got Mother Giselle lending a hand now, which helps. For the ones that need comforting more than actual healing, she's a rock in fast water. Something to cling to.
But that's not actual healing, though. It's more like emotional support.
How do I go about having potions made?
Just take a look there and tell me what you'd like. Find a recipe for something better, I can make that too.
Okay. Good. Sorry about your guests, I kinda shooed them away. Oh. No? Oh, I thought you wanted to talk to him. No?
You're back. And in one piece.
For now?
Is there anything I can do to help out?
We're fine as far as raw labor goes. You've more important things to do than tend to me.
Oh,
I only
thank
wish I'd
you.
been able to find Master Tajin's notes. Old bastard was working on something special. He died at the Conclave, and his notes weren't here. Been too busy dealing with the wounded to look for them.
Can I go back to the Conclave?
Farewell.
Well, thank you. Upgrade potions, equip potions. Regeneration potion restores 26 health every 2 seconds for 60 seconds. I can make this. Okay, good. Alchemical requirements, 1 elf root.
Let me know if you need anything.
Healing spells as a mage doesn't seem to be a thing anymore. We have to rely on various combinations of potions. Upgrade potions. Potion upgrades require a significant amount of herbs to unlock. In return, they give permanent and significant bonuses to your potions. So if I want to increase the healing on the potion, increase it by 50%. 29 elf root, 1 dawn lotus. I happen to have that. Regeneration potion. Royal elf root, 18. Increase duration. Increase healing. I'll increase the regeneration for now because I feel like the healing potions have been giving me full health already. So I'm not gonna place that as a priority to increase the health. Do that. Okay. Wow, we actually have to be on a lookout for these upgrades then, huh? These cost quite a bit. Oh, I didn't even look at the other stuff yet. Probably should have done that. Tonics? Don't know. Grenades? Don't know. Okay, that's fine. That is fine. Thank you. Solas. How are you doing? This is your house? Can I loot it? I'll be taking that, thank you. I wonder if that instrument right here is a lute. I was looking at that after I said, can I loot it? I was like, ha ha ha, in my head.
The chosen of Andraste. A blessed hero sent to save us all.
I've got to be a hero.
Am I riding in on a shining steed?
I would have suggested a griffon, but sadly they're extinct. Joke as you will, posturing is necessary.
Yeah, you're right.
I've journeyed deep into the Fade in ancient ruins and battlefields to see the dreams of lost civilizations. I've watched as hosts of spirits clash to reenact the bloody past in ancient wars, both famous and forgotten. Every great war has its heroes. I'm just curious what kind you'll be.
I'm more curious about you. You sound like you regularly visit and study the Fade. I've never heard of anyone doing that before. Everyone's usually keen to get out of there ASAP.
What do you mean, ruins and battlefields?
Any building strong enough to withstand the rigors of time has a history. Every battlefield is steeped in death. Both attract spirits. They press against the veil, weakening the barrier between our worlds. When I dream in such places, I go deep into the Fade. I can find memories no other living being has ever seen.
The only time I remember people talking about researching the Fade specifically was that one entry that mentioned that people were trying to map it and they found that they couldn't.
You fall asleep in the middle of ancient ruins. Isn't that dangerous?
I do set wards. And if you leave food out for the giant spiders, they are usually content to live and let live.
Oh wow, good to know.
I've never heard of anyone going so far into the Fade. That's extraordinary.
Thank you. It's not a common field of study for obvious reasons. Not so flashy as throwing fire or lightning. The thrill of finding remnants of a 1,000-year-old dream? I would not trade it for anything. I will stay there. At least until the breach has been closed.
Was that in doubt?
I am an apostate mage surrounded by Chantry forces, and unlike you, I do not have a divine mark protecting me. Cassandra has been accommodating, but you understand my caution.
And you're an elf. Yeah, it's a tough world out here, I don't blame you. Oh. We gotta do it.
You came here to help, Solas. I won't let them use that against you.
How would you stop them?
However I had to.
Thank you. But now let us hope either the mages or the Templars have the power to seal the breach.
Something like that.
Closing the breach is our primary goal. But I hope we might also discover what was used to create it. Any artifact of such power is dangerous. The destruction of the Conclave proves that much.
You think someone used a tool to make it? I don't understand the nature of the breach at all. Not enough to even have thought about that.
You don't think whatever created the explosion was destroyed in the blast?
You survived, did you not? The artifact that created the breach is unlike anything seen in this age. I will not believe it destroyed until I see the shattered fragments with my own eyes.
When Solas talked about giant spiders in the Fade just now, that reminds me of how in the beginning we were being chased by giant spiders. So that part was in the Fade. And then the only reason we survived was because that glowing figure saved me? And they gave me a mark? Is that our current understanding?
We would do well to try to recover whatever created the breach.
Liliana's people have scoured the area near the blast and found nothing. Whatever the artifact was, it is no longer there. In any case, did you need me for anything?
I'd like to know more about you, Solas.
Why?
Because you seem like you know a lot?
You're an apostate, yet you risked your freedom to help the Inquisition.
Not the wisest course of action when framed that way.
I appreciate the work you're doing, Solas. I just wanted to know more about you.
I am sorry. With so much fear in the air. What would you know of me?
I was hoping we could be elf friends. There aren't very many of us around here in the Inquisition. There are a few, but not enough.
You said you'd traveled to many different places.
This world, or its memory, is reflected in the Fade. Dream in ancient ruins, and you may see a city lost to history. Some of my fondest memories were found in crumbling cities, long picked dry by treasure seekers, the best of the battlefields. Spirits press so tightly on the veil that you can slip across with but a thought.
Any place in particular?
I dreamt at Ostagar. I witnessed the brutality of the Darkspawn and the valor of the Ferelden warriors. I saw Alistair and the hero Ferelden light the signal fire, and Logain's infamous betrayal of Kaelin's forces.
Oh, wow. You can see that in the Fade? Oh, wow, okay.
I've heard the stories. It would be interesting to hear what it was really like.
That's just it. In the Fade, I see reflections created by spirits who react to the emotions of the warriors. One moment, I see heroic wardens lighting the fire and a power-mad villain sneering as he lets King Kaelin fall. The next, I see an army overwhelmed and a veteran commander refusing to let more soldiers die in a lost cause.
And you can't tell which is real?
It is the Fade. They are all real.
Does it ever interfere with your own personal memories? Sounds confusing.
What made you start studying the Fade?
I grew up in a village to the north. There was little to interest a young man, especially one gifted with magic. But as I slept, spirits of the Fade showed me glimpses of wonders I had never imagined. I treasured my dreams. Being awake, out of the Fade, became troublesome.
Did spirits try to tempt you?
No more than a brightly colored fruit is deliberately tempting you to eat it. I learned how to defend myself from more aggressive spirits, and how to interact safely with the rest. I learned how to control my dreams with full consciousness. There was so much I wanted to explore.
You sound extraordinarily gifted in your control of the Fade. Back in 2, I forgot. There was that one city elf. Remember he and his mom? Yeah, he was extraordinarily gifted as a dreamer as well, wasn't he? And then he ended up going to Tevinter Imperium to learn more about his powers. You're kind of like him?
I gather you didn't spend your entire life dreaming.
No. Eventually, I was unable to find new areas in the Fade.
Why?
2 reasons. First, the Fade reflects the world around it. Unless I traveled, I would never find anything new. Second, the Fade reflects and is limited by our imaginations. To find interesting areas, one must be interesting.
You become interesting by traveling the world and seeing new things. Fainreal. I remember the name of the elf, the city elf.
Is this why you joined the Inquisition?
I joined the Inquisition because we were all in terrible danger. If our enemies destroyed the world, I would have nowhere to lay my head while dreaming of the Fade.
Solas seems really eager to share his knowledge. Every time I ask him a little thing, he's like, slightly approves, slightly approves.
I wish you luck.
Thank you. In truth, I've enjoyed experiencing more of life to find more of the Fade.
How so?
You train your will to control magic and withstand possession. Your indomitable focus is an enjoyable side benefit. You have chosen a path whose steps you do not dislike because it leads to a destination you enjoy. As have I.
Indomitable focus?
Presumably. I have yet to see it dominated. I imagine that the sight would be fascinating.
Have you always traveled and studied alone?
Not at all. I have built many lasting friendships. Spirits of wisdom, possessed of ancient knowledge, happy to share what they had seen. Spirits of purpose helped me search. Even wisps, curious and playful, would point out treasures I might have missed.
I don't know of any spirits by those names.
They rarely seek this world. When they do, their natures do not often survive exposure to the people they encounter. Wisdom and purpose are too easily twisted to pride and desire.
Have you seen one called Justice or Vengeance?
You're saying that you became friends with pride and desire demons?
They were not demons for me.
Meaning?
The Fade reflects the minds of the living. If you expect a spirit of wisdom to be a pride demon, it will adapt. And if your mind is free of corrupting influences, if you understand the nature of the spirit, they can be fast friends.
Very frankly, Solas sounds like out of every single person we've come across in the entire Dragon Age world so far, he knows the most about the Fade. I have never heard this much information about this before. Spirits are not your friends. Go tell Meryl that.
You trust these spirits not to possess you the first time you accidentally make a wish.
Do you trust your friends not to turn on you?
No?
Well, yes, but they're people.
Ah, of course.
You know what I mean.
Are people only people because they are flesh and blood? Is Cassandra defined by her cheekbones and not her faith? Varric by his chest hair and not his wit?
Wait, but I don't trust my friends to not turn on me. I want them to not turn on me, but they're people. They can act on their own accord. I do not trust that they just won't turn on me. Just like how I don't trust that spirits won't turn on me. Okay, we're in the middle of a debate right now. Is this really appropriate? I don't think you need a body to be real. Spirits are people.
I hadn't thought about it that way, but I see your point.
Thank you. Few are willing to entertain such a notion.
What's the definition of a person?
We'll talk later.
That's what you make it.
Goodbye.
We're all, according to Maker myth, we are all made by the Maker anyway. So, yeah.
As I explored the Fade, I felt the presence of an intriguing artifact in the hinterlands. If you are willing, I would like to locate it. I have marked its location as best I could determine.
Okay, sure.
I'd be interested in hearing your opinions on elven culture.
I thought you would be more interested in sharing your opinions of elven culture. You are Dalish, are you not?
I am.
What's your problem with the Dalish? Allergic to Hala?
They are children acting out stories misheard and repeated wrongly 1,000 times.
Oh, but you know the truth, right?
While they pass on stories, mangling details, I walk the Fade. I have seen things they have not.
There is a tinge of contempt as he says this.
Fine, you think we're terrible. What about the alienages full of elves who aren't Dalish?
Why? What would it benefit some poor man in a Ferelden alienage to learn that his ancestors strode the land like gods? It would only make him bitter, or inspire him to take a foolish risk and get himself killed.
You've decided his reaction for him.
Perhaps I have. If you have questions and believe the answers will help, ask.
We're very quickly undoing all of the goodwill we were building up. We're just talking. Why don't you tell me what you know and what you believe?
Are all Dalish elves like my clan?
No. Your clan was unique in having enough interest in human affairs to send you to spy upon the Divine's meeting. As your clans have been separate for so long, they have all changed, adapting to the lands in which they live. Some are no more than bandits. Others trade freely with humans. And some have disappeared entirely into the forests.
And yet you're alone the whole time. You don't have a clan. What happens when you get sick? Who takes care of you?
Is the magic they teach in the Circle different from the magic I learned with my people?
No and yes. Magic is magic, just as water is water, but it can be used in different ways. Dalish magic is more practical, not needing Chantry approval, although they still frown on blood magic. Superstition. Much of it is more subtle. A legacy from when elves were immortal.
Did they forget to write the dialogue? Ooh.
The legends of elven immortality. Did they use magic to increase their lifespan?
No. It was simply part of being elven. The subtle beauty of their magic was the effect, not the cause of their nature. Some spells took years to cast. Echoes would linger for centuries, harmonizing with new magic in an unending symphony. It must have been beautiful.
You said that the censure against blood magic was a superstition.
I did. It's fortunate Cassandra is not within earshot. Most modern cultures forbid blood magic. Publicly, even Devinda disapproves of it. But as I said, magic is magic. It matters only in how it is used.
Wow, you and Meryl would get along. I hesitate to immediately write it off. Oh, they don't let me fence it very often here, huh? I have to make a stand. I don't know how I feel about it. Is it always only... well, I get the impression that Solas would not approve of this answer, for sure. I think you can learn things from it.
I'd be interested in learning more about blood magic.
I would teach you if I knew it. Unfortunately, using blood magic seems to make it more difficult to enter the Fade. You understand why I never bothered to learn it. A shame, as it is extremely powerful, provided it remains a tool, not a crutch, nor a passion.
Why is that? Using blood magic makes it more difficult to enter the Fade? What's the interaction happening there?
I'd like to know more about the elves from before our time.
The Dalish strive to remember Hallam Sharal. But Hallam Sharal was merely a fumbling attempt to recreate a forgotten land.
Arlathan.
Elvanan was the empire, and Arlathan its greatest city. Place of magic and beauty, lost to time.
You've studied ancient elves. What else do you know of Arlathan?
We hear stories of them living in trees, and imagine wooden ramps or Dalish Erebels. Imagine instead spires of crystal twining through the branches, palaces floating among the clouds. Imagine beings who lived forever, for whom magic was as natural as breathing. That is what was lost.
What can you tell me about elves living in human cities?
The culture in alienages or among the slaves of Tevinter is like any of the impoverished and powerless. They cling to memories of a better past and practice a few rituals to distinguish themselves from humans.
You know a lot.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
No, I think we have more to talk about,
Hello?
didn't we?
What do you know about the Fade?
A great deal from my wanderings. There are few hard facts, but I can share what I have learned.
Yes, stand here. Keep telling me more.
I'd like to know more about the Veil.
Circle mages call it a barrier between this world and the Fade, but according to my studies in ancient elven lore, that is a vast oversimplification. Without it, imagine if spirits entered freely. The Fade was not a place one went, but a state of nature like the wind.
That sounds hard to understand, is what I'm really thinking.
It sounds like it would be wonderful.
And dangerous.
I'm sucking
But
up.
yes, a world where imagination defines reality, where spirits are as common as trees or grass. Instead, spirits are strange and fearful, and the Fade is a terrifying world touched only by mages and dreamers. I am glad that I'm not alone in seeing the beauty of such a world, along with the obvious peril.
I'd like to know more about demons.
Your Dalish say that demons hate the natural world, seek to bring their chaos and destruction to the living. But such simplistic labels misconstrue their motivations, and in so doing, do all a great disservice. Spirits wish to join the living, and a demon is that wish gone wrong.
Is there a way to coexist? To live with them? If not in peace, at least without such active confrontation.
Not in the world we know today. The Veil creates a barrier that makes true understanding most unlikely. But the question is a good one, and it matters that you thought to ask.
He's totally pro-spirits.
I'd like to know more about the breach.
Simply put, it is a tear in the veil between this world and the Fade, allowing spirits to enter the world physically. Small tears occur naturally when magic weakens the veil, or when spirits cluster at an area that has seen many deaths. But your mark allows you to exert some control over the breach. That means it was created deliberately.
Someone consciously, purposefully decided to give me a mark. Interesting theory.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
Solas sounds like he has a lot of empathy for spirits and the Fade in general. Is there a way for spirits and people to coexist? I wonder. But yeah, surprisingly, Solas has some pretty hard views on Dalish versus city elves. He's like, I'm neither, I'm better than them, I'm an ancient elf believer. Okay.
Are we going to have new verses in the Chant of Light now, for the Herald of Andraste, telling what she did?
It's far too soon to consider anything like that.
I was talking with a friend who said there used to be a verse about an elf in the Chant of Light.
No, that's not true.
Ah.
I'm sorry. But that doesn't mean the Maker loves you any less.
The verse about the elf, is that Shartan?
Fix the door just like you asked, Flitter.
That's why.
Master Harriet said I should go back right away.
Little stories here. A tale of the Frostbacks. Even mountains had a heart once. When the world was young, Korth the Mountain Father kept his throne at the peak of Belenas, the mountain at the center of the world from which he could see all the corners of earth and sky. I think we've read this one. And he saw strong men become weak, brave men grow cowardly, and wise men turn foolish for love. Korth devised a plan that he might never be betrayed by his own heart, by taking it out and hiding it where no soul would ever dare search for it. He sealed it inside a golden cask, buried it in the earth, and raised around it the fiercest mountains the world had ever seen, the Frostbacks, to guard it. But without his heart, the Mountain Father grew cruel. His chest was filled with bitter mountain winds that shrieked and howled like lost souls. Food lost its flavor, music had no sweetness, and he lost all joy in deeds of valor. He sent avalanches and earthquakes to torment the tribes of men. Gods and men rose against him, calling him a tyrant, but with no heart, Korth could not be slain. Soon there were no heroes left, either among men or gods, who would dare challenge Korth. The Lady of the Skies sent the best of her children, the swiftest, the cleverest, and the strongest flyers, to scour the mountains for the missing heart, and for a year and a day they searched, but Sparrow and Raven, Vulture and Eagle, Swift and Albatross returned to her with nothing. Then the ptarmigan spoke up and offered to find the god chief's heart. The other birds laughed, for the ptarmigan is a tiny bird too humble to soar, which spends half its time hopping along the ground. The lady would not give the little creature her blessing, for the mountains were too fierce, even for eagles, but the ptarmigan set out anyway. The little bird traveled deep into the Frostbacks. When she could not fly, she crawled. She hugged the ground and weathered the worst mountain winds, and so made her lonely way to the valley where the heart beat. With all the gods' terrible deeds, the heart was far too heavy for the tiny bird to carry, so she rolled it, little by little, out of the valley and down a cliff, and when the golden cask struck with the earth, it shattered. The heart was full, almost to bursting, and the pain of it roused the mountain god to come see what had happened. When Korth neared his heart, it leapt back into his chest and he was whole again. Then Hakon Winter's Breath bound Korth's chest with 3 bands of iron and 3 bands of ice, so that it could never escape again. And all the remaining gods named the ptarmigan, honored above even the loftiest eagles. Yeah, I vaguely remember this one. Oh, resources found here. Elfroot iron. We read about it before, but I didn't remember the full story. It was kind of nice to see it again. Okay, so the... piece by piece. The blacksmith can also improve existing armor. Why does that special shipment still... World map. Oh, there's some stuff going on here. Should we be doing that? Material. Oh, the logging stand? Is that found here? Tajan's notes. Yeah, you know what? Let's have a look around here and try to do some of these quests before we go back to the hinterlands again. And do the war council stuff.
We'll need some of your cloth for bandages.
And how much is Mother Giselle willing to offer?
Can you really put a price on the
What?
love of Andraste?
She's using Andraste as a clutch.
There is but
Good day.
one god.
Or good as it could be with the sky ripped apart.
Hello.
You must speak with most everyone here. How are people doing?
Hope and fear in equal measure. No one really knows what it means when an Inquisition is called. Yet, I imagine it's no better for you. You've got my sympathies, for what it's worth.
I just noticed it now, but did you ever see how good the lip syncing is? Like, for this guy's lip syncing just now, it was so good. It's such a shame that they never, like, this zooming in thing is a mod, because you wouldn't be able to see it at all otherwise. Look at it.
What kind of person stays to run a shop at a time like this?
The kind with nowhere else to go. Those blasted demons destroyed most of my goods. If I stay here, work some contacts, I can start rebuilding. Maybe, just maybe, help you folks out in the process.
It's pretty damn good.
Can I see what you have for sale?
Of course. My wares are at the table.
You've got stuff here. Can you buy some stuff? Kunari Battle Axe, we don't need it. These fire staffs, we don't need it. We don't need... Yeah. Daggers. Can I put away Cassandra's shield and sword somewhere? Is that a thing? I don't know what to do with this. Am I ever gonna wear this? I don't think so. Can we just sell it? It's annoying me a little bit. Yeah, we're good for now. I'll take a look at this once we do the quests and stuff. I don't feel like doing it right now. Okay. Right, so we will go...
Good day.
It's this...
A learned child is a blessing upon his parents and onto
It's
the
this
maiden.
again. It resets every now and then. Just the state. It doesn't actually give me anything new. Are people gonna come with me if I want to explore?
With passioned breath does the darkness...
It sounds like we can go all the way back to... Because we're still near the Frostback Mountains right now. We can go straight back to where the temple was.
It is the whisper in the night.
Am I just going by myself like this? And I guess I gotta be a little bit more diligent in picking up the herbs, huh? Since we get upgrades and all. Picking up anything that's glowing, really. It'll be useful eventually.
There must be something here.
The notes? The notes? Yes. Barely acknowledged it. Okay, we'll bring it back in a jiffy. What about this? Can we go back there? Right, the logging stand. How do we walk over there? You just walk. This must be a unique item then. You can't get it. Oh, I'm going to the wrong one. Hold on. Wait, but behind? Can I get behind the house? Not sure if that's even a thing. We can try. Oh, I'm picking up all this. It's free. One of these days we'll need the iron. It looks like the upgrades cost quite a bit, so we do have to be kind of diligent about it. Am I really gonna be here all by myself? Are there gonna be creatures around here? I hear barking already. Not a great sign. Logging stand is what I'm here for. Oh, there's ram here as well. Can I get ram meat? I hate how that's the first thing I'm thinking, but it is. Oh wow, check this place out. Just a look at Haven in general, being in between the Frostback Mountains. Reading that story earlier about how the guy hid his heart here. Yeah, this is exactly what we're talking about. This mountain specifically. Alright, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I must hurt some of you.
One down!
You don't have to yell so loud. Ram meat! Right. We'll eventually get everything. Sorry, I'm sorry. We get XP for this. 10? 10 ram? Whoa, the Druffalo has some extreme armor. It's okay, I'm not here to kill Druffalo. But what if someone asks for Druffalo meat later? We'll see. Oh god, oh. I've made a grave mistake. I've made a grave mistake. I'm by myself too. Haha! It's level 1. Let's just get it to go. But this is barely doing anything to it. This is strong. Why am I spending time on this? I'm not getting through the armor at all. Gotta wait till the attacks. Oh, the burning. The burning is taking away the... I'm not killing your friend. Don't look at me like that, please. There we go. Now we can get something going on. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I came here for the logging stand, really, and maybe some ram meat, but not... I didn't come here to get you! But I'm invested now, you know? I've started, now I can't stop. Hey, some of its shielding comes back after a while. We've got to hurry it up. Does that energy barrage even do anything? It's going elsewhere. Oh my gosh, hurry up. Wait, the shield is back in full. I mean, it's not hurting me very much, surprisingly, but... Come on. Come on. Oh no. Wow, we didn't even get loot for that. I'm sorry, that was an accident, please. But I needed to get the Druffalo Codex. You can look at it like that. I'm far away from where I need to be. I'm so sorry, just leave me alone, please. That was an accident. Accidents happen. If there were more RAM, I'd hurt them, but you're not RAM. Just, I'm sorry. I'm back in this area here. Logging stand. Here we go. Logging site located. It's a whole logging site. We just claimed it, okay? So we can go back to Thren with that now? Yes, yes? Oh, no. Oh, my guy, please. Are you serious? Wait, where was the ram? There was a ram earlier. Please, leave me alone! I'm sorry, just leave me alone! I don't see any more ram here, though. Maybe I'll leave for now. Oh, gosh. Can we fast travel back or something? Because this guy will be on to me the whole time. I'll see you back at Thren. Yeah, the Apothecary too. I don't know how to say this, but this Druffalo is seriously following me the whole time back. It won't leave me alone. Are you serious? Whoa, dude! Whoa! Oh. Okay. I'm so sorry about that, Segret. That was, we had a bit of an accident. I hope you can forgive me for that. That guy would not let me go. It was just going on and on and on, and... Where am I supposed to be again? Oh, I haven't been here before.
Been a while since I built one of these. Prayed to the Maker that I'd never have to build another.
I guess the Maker paid you as much attention as he pays everyone else.
Don't talk like that, boy. I lived through the siege of Denardin by the Maker's grace. We're doing the Maker's work in the Inquisition. If we get out of a hard fight alive, we'll thank him kindly for it.
We have some of the most religious people here in the Inquisition. In fact, because they're religious, that's why they're in the Inquisition. Construction orders. As you know from the terrible accidents of last week, many passages through the mountain are unstable and liable to collapse at any moment. I do not wish us to lose more brothers and sisters in the search for lost cultist treasure. We must seal all entrances into the mountain. The Templars have done a careful sweep of the caves. Everything of worth was collected. What remains of the disciples of Andraste will be forgotten, buried in the earth. Once it is done, let us have no more talk of them. This is a new haven, restored to life by the true Chantry and most holy Justinia V. Mother Florentine. What exactly is being built here? Siege equipment in Thedas. Siege weaponry has been used in Thedas for centuries, with primitive equipment used as far back as the Third Blight. Nevertheless, it occupies a peculiar niche in the tools of warfare due to its requirements. Any army wishing to produce trebuchets or catapults must be funded and organized well enough to procure both the necessary materials and military experts to construct them. Throughout history, most armies who fulfill such requirements did not take advantage of the situation. During the Third Blight, for example, Arlesans and Montsimmer constructed catapults to fling flaming debris at the Darkspawn, but the expense of the weapons did not justify the limited damage they caused, and the Darkspawn were ultimately driven back by the Grey Wardens, not siege weaponry. In fact, I would say siege weaponry actually contributed to killing Grey Wardens. Wow! Wow, Welonz, are you serious? The Winter forces similarly had the resources to construct siege weapons when attacking the Free Marchers or defending themselves against the Exalted Marches of the Black Age. Instead, the Imperium focused primarily upon the power of its Magisters, who were less powerful but more flexible than siege equipment, and those who could more easily fall back when the tide of battle turned. As a result, in the battles against the Qunari in the Steel Age, generals found to their chagrin that the Great Oxman had left them behind. Qunari black powder is, most military experts agree, not magic. It is merely advanced alchemy that makes their cannons more effective than any trebuchet could ever be. Nevertheless, there remains hope. As centuries have passed since the last blight, and mages are now safely held in the circles where they harm none. The experts of Ferelden and Orlais may once again turn their great minds to learning. We need no magic, not where the minds of men survive unfettered. With our resources and our commitment to knowledge, we can easily surpass a brutal Qunari on the field of battle. Qunari black powder. Yes, that was the thing. Remember the one dwarf merchant guy who wanted the black powder? But back in Awakening, we had people who knew about black powder or just gunpowder in general pretty well too. Bombs? Explosives? There was that one dwarf guy who was helping us in the keep. Okay, so this isn't really where we needed to be, but I hadn't been here before. Balanced dagger grip. Yeah, that was just a place off to the side. I haven't been over on this side at all. The blacksmith can improve armor, but I don't think I have the materials yet, so I'll ignore him for now.
To put the blighted thing up so it can pivot. No telling which direction it'll be coming from.
Why are you so worried, sir? We're getting more soldiers every day.
Yes, more soldiers in a town that was never meant to be a fortress. We'll need the Maker's own blessing to defend this place, boy. Failing that, this will have to do.
Better to be over-prepared than not prepared at all.